I know this topic has been talked about to death at this point, and that there's probably tens and hundreds of videos on this topic, and I'm sure that if you see this one, you're more most likely you've seen so many others. But if you want to give it a chance, hear me out. You should buy an iPod, and it's not just because ownership or whatever, but I will get into that topic too. But at least personally, it helped me understand and appreciate music more. Because, see, in this attention economy, we are always told, oh, you gotta keep yourself distracted, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta keep yourself busy at all times. And I think that what Spotify encapsulates in the algorithms is pretty much that. Every single album, every single song made in history, or almost all of them, are available easily. And sure, that's gonna help us become more open to more music. It's gonna help with discovery. I see the positives. I mean, heck, I've been using it for those positives. I've been using Spotify for those positives. But I plan on quitting at the end of this year. I've been using an iPod for this past year and a half, and I've been buying my music again on iTunes and Bandcamp. I already had a CD collection and a vinyl collection. Well, I wouldn't call them collections. I call them more so just buying whatever I find and like. But that's kind of how it goes for every single one of my collections. I just guess that there's a lot of stigma to myself with the term collections, because I don't like a lot of collectors. They're kind of not chill people. But anyway, the reason why I don't buy CDs and I am buying on Bandcamp and iTunes so digitally is because I ran out of room, and I don't want to end up hoarding, because unfortunately hoarding is an issue amongst a lot of collectors, and I'm trying to not fall into that problem. But I will say one thing, at least on a personal level, I feel just as much of an attachment to my digital collection as I do physically. I love having music, and also, to those who haven't watched and will now watch my previous videos on the topic, iTunes and Bandcamp, they're both DRM free. I know that yes, iTunes is lossy, but trust me, unless you sit and really focus on telling the difference, it won't be easy to tell the difference. And even if you do tell the difference, I am gonna be completely honest, I doubt you will actually care to really make it a huge point. Anyway, I know a lot of people struggle with streaming in regards of exploring and listening to music. I know a lot of people, a majority of people even apparently, they're struggling with listening to a full album start to finish. I've heard of people even struggling to finish listening to a song. I heard that due to TikTok and streaming and everything making things so convenient, that some people pretty much we have reverted to the ringtone-ification of music, where you have to make short songs that have like a very catchy segment. Before it was for ringtones, now it's for TikToks. Kiss Me Through the Phone is coming back, and now it's more popular than ever. Anyway, like, as a phenomenon, songs made just for it to be catchy for like a 30-second bit, and then the rest is just whatever. Anyway, buying music on buying music for my iPod and buying music on iTunes and Bandcamp. And yes, you can still buy music on iTunes. A lot of people don't know that. Um, it it helps me value the music I have, value my catalog, my backlog, or everything like that, more than if I was to say, oh yeah, here's I don't know, I feel like listening to Oingo Boingo tomorrow, or Donna Summer, or Jay-Z. It's like I can listen to those. I have never had a problem listening to a full album, even on Spotify. Um, and I tend to like listening to a whole lot of music. Um, but I feel that buying it on an iPod, for an iPod, or just buying it on a CD or vinyl or whatever, to me it makes it more imperative that I need to listen to it. But I will only talk about iTunes and iPods and stuff. Every time I go out on a walk, I usually just tend to plan out one or two albums from my backlog and listen to them in full. And honestly, it is a really fun experience. I am trying to listen to every single thing that I've purchased. When I'm cleaning around or doing something around the house, I always put on some of my purchases. Even I've slowly been distancing myself from relying on Spotify more and more as a result. As for the price, I know a lot of people will say, well, it's so expensive buying music. That's why subscription is better. And I'm not saying that subscriptions are a bad deal. No. But it's for the same reason why most people are not going to pay for PS Plus, or what's the Game Pass. Like, yeah, people are going to pay for that, but are you going to only play the games available to you through PS Plus and Game Pass? Most likely not. Most definitely not. Even if they're giving you a lot of options. And I think it's due to one singular factor. You want to have your own independence with music. And also, sometimes it's just worth spending the extra dollar to know that you have the game, have it full time. It's not going to be, reliant on you paying for that subscription. I'm not going to talk about delistings and removals, because that topic has been overdone to hell, and I will be completely honest, that doesn't happen as much with music. But anyway, that is something that a lot of people just don't really think about enough. How just having all of that music, owning that music, is cheaper in the long term. And I'm gonna put it this way, right? So buying one singular song on iTunes is either 99 cents, or to some people $1.20. Let's round it down to 99 cents, and I'll also round down Spotify, don't worry, right? A whole album, $10. Think about it this way. $10 is also, let's say, the Spotify subscription. I know it's more, but I will round it down for the sake of argument and fairness. Yes, if you're going to only use an iPod for a whole month, yeah, buying, let's say, even a couple albums is probably not really a good deal. It's probably going to cost you a lot more, but put yourself in these shoes. Let's create a hypothetical character, right? Not you, not I. Shirley. You're Shirley, aged 25. You have a playlist of 200 songs, and you add 10 more every year. You don't have the exact number. I'm just going as hypothetical, right? What would be cheaper for Shirley to, and this is granted that with the idea that none of these services go away in that time. What is going to be more practical for Shirley? For her to pay $10 a month for the next, what, 50 years? Since she's 25, let's say 50 years, that's life expectancy roughly on the lower end. So even more than that. Or for her to buy the 200 songs, spend $200, and then every year to spend 10, 20 more bucks to buy new music. You will probably agree that, yeah, buying the music outright is a better deal, for the sake of, hey, if you're not going to listen to a ton of music and you're going to have your highlight reel, at that point might as well just not rely on the subscription, not pay money every month. You can just straight up transfer your music on your phone or whatever. Like, you don't have to use an iPod. I just use an iPod because it just compartmentalizes everything and makes my phone less of a must use and must have. I still listen to music on my phone, don't get me wrong. Since I have an iPhone SE as like a secondary phone that I take out with me and whatever, I do have access to my iTunes library, and I do use that for listening to music whenever I'm going, for example, to the grocery store or somewhere nearby where just taking my iPod outright would not really be that good of a deal or, worthwhile. But yeah, that is what I'm thinking of, right? And sure, you'll say, well, I don't listen to 200 songs. Neither do I. I buy an album every week, personally. So, yeah, I do pay smaller prices on both Spotify and also on iTunes purchases. But that's kind of irrelevant to this discussion. And yes, I know that I've most definitely spent so far more money on buying music on iTunes than I have paying for Spotify these past, what, I've been subscribed to Spotify since about 2018, 2019 or so. So yeah, you can make the point that, oh yeah, I've probably spent a bunch of money. However, there will come a point where I'm not going to feel a want or a need to buy more music. I could straight up stop buying music right now, right here, and I will still have enough music, even just excluding my CDs, excluding everything else. I will have enough music to pretty much have something fresh for me for the next couple of years. There's always going to be a new song that I will discover that I haven't listened to before or that I need to listen to. And my evidence of that, I have not bought anything new in about a month because I had to focus my financials on other things. I do have a list of things I want to buy though, and it's all old music that I know I will listen to right now and in the future and at any other point from now until forever. I don't know. It's a lot of music. It's a lot of classics. I guess. I guess some people would be hard pressed to call, I don't know, Sam's Town by the Killers a classic, but it's 20 years old. You can call it that. You can allow it, but yeah, my point is, if you want to have a deeper appreciation for your music and want to cut back from this reliance on streaming, maybe give it a shot. Maybe buy an album or two. If you don't think you're going to do it as a permanent thing, you can still buy like an album or two whenever you want to not really use Spotify. And eventually you will get to a point where you'll have a decent backlog, a decent catalog Because ultimately, let's say I end up completely broke and I cannot spend any money on subscriptions, right? I can, if I stop paying for Spotify, I lose access to all of my music, or at worst, I will have ads and have a pretty subpar experience. But at best, I will have just still something with buy my music, like my purchase of let me open iTunes. I'll just go for a random pick. I'll just think of something. My copy of Brat, that's an album I bought on iTunes. I'll just open now after I said Brat, or whatever. My copy of Brat is going to be available now. It's going to be available tomorrow, and it's going to be available 6 years from now, 7 years from now, 6, 7. Anyway, the point is, I'll always have it available. If Spotify goes away, or if I end up broke, I will still have some music of my own. And I think that an iPod is the best way to enjoy it, because it's a way to detach yourself from the phone. Because something I noticed with myself is, I'm on my phone, I put a song on Spotify, then I instinctively go on another app, Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever else it may be. And having an iPod for that kind of breaks the cycle a bit. It just breaks the link, because you will have to grab another device just to check those apps, and it gives you more of you have to be proactively choosing to open those apps. And I think that itself makes it worth it. Obviously, not everyone will be able to afford buying music, and if you need to get it through other means, I'm not a cop. I'm not a judgmental bitch. Just do whatever you can with your own means. I used to pirate a lot of music before Spotify, before any of this. Now I try to pirate less, because I want to, give back to the artists, because buying an album on iTunes is also supporting the artist way more. It's the equivalent. Buying a track on iTunes is the equivalent of streaming it for, I think, 1,000 times. So make of that what you will. Because it will take a while for you to listen to a song 1,000 times. Anyway, I think I've concluded my argument quite well. I will stop yapping, and I will see you all next time. Later.